Hello and welcome to Papua New Guinea. I would like to continue the story of our life in Papua New Guinea, how it grew and expanded from that one small island. Yule Island is a very small island, much like the island behind me. It was just a very small island across from the mainland of Papua. And so after a while, when the sisters were settled and more young sisters came from Australia, then it was time to move, it was time to expand. And so they followed the fathers onto the mainland, into the Roro, Mekio, and up into the mountains of the Goilala people. To get up those mountains to the top of very, very high mountains, to places like Fani and Anonge, they had to walk. And the roads that they followed were the roads that had been cut out by the fathers. They worked with the young men along the road and they built the roads. When it rained, they went into little huts that they had built along the roadside, and the priest taught them, the boys, their catechism, taught them the faith. Those boys, those young men went home and told these stories about this man Jesus, about this God who loved us so much that he sent his only son to save us, to help us. And so the story of the faith spread among the people who never had any education, but they had the faith. They lived and loved the faith of the Gospels. And so as they went up the mountains, they took with them everything that they needed, just very narrow tracks, sitting on a horse and going very, very slowly. One step and they were down the edge of a cliff. One young French sister came out and she was sent up to Anonge, and she never left. She was too frightened to ever get onto a horse again and come down to Yule Island. When the sisters came down for holidays or for retreats, no, she stayed at Anonge. She lived and died at Anonge. That's how frightening it was for people coming from other countries. From there, they went across to Milne Bay. And the fathers and then the sisters in 1932 started in Milne Bay, started hospitals and started schools, schools that weren't just mission schools now, but they were schools recognised by the government because the sisters coming up from Australia were trained teachers and trained nurses. They could have their own hospitals. They could receive medicine from the government because they were officially registered nurses and registered teachers. And so life expanded up into Rabaul, up into Manus Island, all of it becoming more and more a great workshop of God, working to bring the good news to children, to people, to educate people so that they would know a better life, to educate people so that they could look after themselves and their families better, that they could use their food in a better way, that they could use their products in a better way, that they could use their products to produce pandanus baskets, pandanus mats, and these could be sold and bring in an income for the family. Life was changing, but the thing was that these people really had the faith. I'm thinking of the people that I taught in Dio, Bedoya, Trobriand Islands, in Milne Bay. I think of these people now as people. I can see them as they were then, not as they are now, older people. But then, I do know that now they have the faith. I remember when I was at Hagita and the children were giving blood, I walked down to give blood and I met a young nurse who was the one that I'd taught in preps when I'd first arrived in Papua New Guinea. And she said to me, "What are you doing, old woman?" And I said, "I'm going down to give blood." Old woman was a term of respect. "I'm going down to give blood." "Oh no," she said, "you are too old to give blood. But you come down and sit beside the students who give blood and you comfort them if they're frightened after they have lost their blood." And so I went down and sat with the students and told stories. I told that story, old woman. Numwaya was the word, Numwaya. Or what was the one for Dio? I've forgotten. But Numwaya was the one for the trobes. Kedaluma was the one for Milne Bay. Kedaluma, a real term of respect for people. So that's how we grew, that's how we spread, and that's how we continue today. While this old woman, this Kedaluma, this Numwaya, is back in Australia, the faith is still continuing to spread through the children that I taught, that became women, that became mothers. The men who became businessmen, who became professional men, who can spread their ideas with others, who can help people to respect. So make sure you have something in your life that you can give to others, that you can give them respect. Bye now, and God bless you.